Dante and Vergil are brothers at odds, both insanely powerful in their own right. But how would they fare if they suddenly found themselves in a strange land, or even a land between? Elden Ring has a plethora of equipment to enable Dante and Vergil styled gameplay, so starting from scratch, we're making these brothers build themselves up until they resemble something of their former selves. Oh, and we're basically doing this on Dante Must Die difficulty, aka hella hard mode. Welcome to the Brothers Sparta vs. Elden Ring. Using the seamless co-op mod, we adjusted enemy stats to closer resemble the hardest difficulty in Devil May Cry, and then we jumped headfirst into the furnace. Meet Dante Devil Chin and my blue companion, Vergil Be Crying. Our first order of business was to acquire a couple of the brothers' signature weapons and moves. The Samurai class begins with a katana that has some unsheath attacks, perfect for a baby Vergil, and I began with two scimitars, my goal being to have one of them do fire and the other wind, representing Agni and Rudra. I also used the Ice Rind Hatchet very briefly to get a bit of Cerberus ice action going. On our way to acquire the Agni skill for one of my scimitars, we got invaded by Meatball, who was way above our level, but I guess while we were playing DMC, he was playing Pokemon. He summoned an intimidating enemy to battle us and let us duke it out while he watched from the sidelines. Naturally, we came out on top, and with a respectful bow, Meatball went on his merry way. Didn't even give us his gym badge. Regardless, with Agni's fire acquired, there was one more thing to settle. Dante wouldn't be Dante without Stinger. So we beat this guy we visited Nico's shop, and look at that, Stinger acquired. Along the way, Vergil picked up the Moon Veil, a magical katana, and the Carrion Knight's sword to represent Mirage Edge with its giant blue blade. Now that we were looking a little more like the Sons of Sparta, it was time for us to go on a tear. Even with the modifiers we added, Morgott and Godric couldn't hold a candle to Dante and Vergil. Gravity could, though. Our most immediate goal was to get to the DLC as soon as possible, because it is filled with the most stylish stuff in the game. In order to do that, we had to take on Moog, a very, very late game boss, much earlier than intended. Thanks to Vare's questline, we were able to get an item that basically took us straight to him, but that left us with a new problem. We needed to get buff quick. So we rushed Altus Plateau and started challenging the various bosses scattered about for a big level infusion. Now is probably a good time to mention that we also enabled friendly fire for this entire playthrough. We could accidentally hit each other in the middle of combat, and it added another neat dynamic that really drove home that feeling of working together. Truly, our connection was brotherly. Even when we were far apart, I swear it was like I could feel him right next to me. I mean, this was someone I could completely trust to have my back when I had to step away for a minute. Hey, you guys remember this scene from DMC3? After leveling up a bit, we paid Moog a visit, got crushed for his entertainment, and immediately left. Still not ready. So we did the next best thing and went to Volcano Manor. Here, I acquired a weapon that Dante has never used before, but come on, he would totally toss around a giant pizza cutter. Gravity struck again, this time claiming the lives of us both, and then we fought the Elden Ring equivalent of Arkham. It's a gimmick fight with a gimmick weapon that took way longer than it should have thanks to our settings. After that, it was time for the actual hard part. Having done basically all we could, the only thing left was to throw ourselves at the wall that is Moog. We spent hours here. Not only were we still technically underleveled, but also he's a pretty tricky boss. He leaves blood fire all around the arena, has massive sweeping attacks, and does enough damage to sometimes even one-shot us. Truth be told, Phase 2 always took me out. Luckily, Vergil clutched up, and greener, more painful pastures were now within our reach. the Shadow Realm, but not that one. There are a few of these giant wicker men wandering around, and we wanted to topple this one for a particular item it drops, but I gotta say, I freaking hate these guys. Look at this grab. Its hand wasn't even on screen, plus I dodged, but I still got vacuum sucked into it. Dark Souls 2, eat your heart out. Something gravity. Oh, it happened again. Alright, we were going down this treacherous path for a singular purpose. Vergil needed a new katana, the Starline Sword, which has a unique combo that's pretty Vergil-like. Amidst our travels, there was an invader we wanted to give a warm welcome to, but he left at some point without us noticing, so actually, this one's for you, YouTube. With Vergil's Starline Sword and my Agni and Rudra, we mowed through the next chunk of the game at... What do you mean that's not what Agni and Rudra looked like before? No, I'm pretty sure they've always looked like that. Anyway, once we beat Morgott again, I unlocked Force Edge's true power and it transformed into Devil Sword Sparta. Check out this stinger. I also started using the Antspur Rapier, one of my favorite weapons in the game. It's got a red blade, so it kinda looks like one of Lucifer's pins from DMC4. None of the base game bosses gave us any trouble all the way through to Godskin Duo. So then we jumped back into the DLC and sought out a true terror, Bale. Don't be confused, this Bale isn't a frog, it's a dragon, and one that I've never fought before, so there was gonna be a learning curve. To get a bit more in-depth about my weapon of choice for this fight, the Antspur Rapier can naturally inflict rot, which is basically a stronger poison. By putting the skill Seppuku on it, I can infuse the blade with bleed, and also add the poison status to it when equipping the skill. That's 3 status effects on one weapon, not something you see every day. Regardless, Bale was a beast. He had a ton of insanely strong attacks, but surprisingly, all of them felt pretty fair, which is more than I can say for some bosses in the DLC. In contrast to the Moog fight, Vergil fell early on many an attempt, leaving me to lock in and do my best. Surprisingly, I got really far by myself, like this close to winning type far, and this failed attempt really had me going, "Curse you, Bale!" But the very next try, we both managed to stay alive, and I got the killing blow with the iconic Killer Bee. Wait, no, sorry, Full House. Or is it Friction? Why the heck do they keep changing the name of this kick? Following the glorious victory, we were finally able to unlock our Devil Trigger transformations. Not gonna lie, they were kinda bad, but thematically, they were super cool. Have you ever wanted to see Vergil get comically pulled off screen? Our next target was nature itself, in the form of an evil sunflower. This boss was unfortunately kinda broken in multiplayer though. It would do things that it really shouldn't have done at certain ranges, which led to us taking some unavoidable damage, and we're pretty much firmly in the end game now, so anything we fight is gonna decimate our health bars no matter what. It was tragic because I really like this boss, but now there has to be an asterisk because I only like this boss if I'm playing solo. This thing was giving us such a hard time, we decided to just go elsewhere for a while. I picked up some cannons to represent Kalina Ann and went full gunslinger against Rolana. For real, Vergil kept her aggro like the entire fight, so I stood back and fired shot after shot while he did all the hard work. This cannon was really fun to use. Having recovered from our skill issue debuff, we returned to throw another hour of attempts at the sunflower, and in what my therapist called the best thing to ever happen to me, I was able to pull us through the fight once and for all. Hey, check out this stupid old guy that tried attacking us. Wait, what's happening? Oh, fuck! Mitra was another boss I had never actually fought before, so this guy was super cool to see. I mainly used Agni and Rudra, the 2 weapons that I've had since the start of the game that totally haven't changed again, and they had some nice options. I had ranged slices for when I wanted to keep distance and let Vergil get some hits in. Then, when I wanted to go in, I'd unleash a huge firestorm. Along our travels, I had also grabbed another devil arm that saw a nice bit of use in this boss fight. These fists were just your standard boxing gloves, but they were made of stone and you could do a heavy attack to fling them at the enemy. In brotherly fashion, Vergil joined me in using fisticuffs and we gave the Lord of Frenzied Flame a taste of Sparta's power. Lady never did this. We made our way to the gank fight toward the end of the DLC. I bit the dust quite early, but Vergil pulled through. So after the fight, this happened. I was alive, but the camera was following him, and my controls were all kinds of messed up. There was only one way to fix this issue. Now let's talk about promised consort Radon. He's the type of guy you could spend so long fighting that your recording encoder craps out and you end up not capturing the winning attempt. In fact, I think Radon attacked my computer directly because all I have are these still frames of the fight. Just know that we spent 5 hours bashing our heads against this guy, and we did eventually get him, but man, it wasn't worth it. Yeah, my recordings were permanently changed from that encounter. Here you can see some more still frames of us fighting Commander Niall, making it to the Halig tree, and then, yep, Melania's dead. We had such a cool strategy for dealing with her too. The follow-up to my stinger would knock her down, and that would let Vergil charge up his giant blade, potentially knocking her down again. Obviously, we played it safe to avoid getting dusted by waterfowl, and once she entered phase 2, I threw some bleed her way with Reduvia and some destined death at her from the Black Blade. During the time that my encoder was still stroking out, we picked up an armor set that made Vergil look hella evil, which was perfect for a Nello Angelo cosplay. For me, there's not a ton of great Dante-looking clothes in the game, so I basically ended up rocking this red robe the entire time. But along with the evil-ass armor set was something I could use, a shield that would retaliate upon taking damage. I taught Vergil the ways of Royal Guard against the Tree Sentinel from the start of the game, and then we set out to do Ronnie's questline so that Vergil could get married. For more power, of course. Hey look, that's me! Anyway, all that we had left after that slideshow was the final gauntlet, but as we approached the last boss gate, we were remembered an optional area we hadn't gone to yet. So we headed into the sewers and I showed Vergil how to skip straight to the bottom. And we ran into Moog again. I survived a fall I definitely shouldn't have, and just like that, we made it to Deeproot Depths. Back up at the Erd Tree, it was time to finish things. Against Radagon, I obviously had to Devil Trigger to be at my strongest. Funny thing about this transformation though, to enter it, you have to be naked. And when you die, the transformation dissipates. So it looked hilarious when Radagon would grab me, engulf me in a ball of light, and then suddenly I'd be naked. I don't know if he can beat those allegations. Unfortunately, the weapon I've been mainly using for a majority of the run is an ultra great sword, meaning it's very slow and very heavy. Obviously, it's possible to fight Radagon with something that sluggish, but I felt like I was doing myself and my partner a disservice by using it. So I swapped to the Anspur Rapier, which gave me ample time to react and dodge. I put the weapon art Chilling Mist on it so I could inflict Frostbite on the boss, and Vergil finished him off with a Judgment Slice. But that wasn't the end of it. After you beat Radagon, you are immediately thrust into a second fight against the Elden Beast. You don't get a chance to rest, no refill on healing, nothing. And if you lose here, you have to go through the first boss again. Naturally, I cut loose and unleashed my most powerful technique, Sin Stinger. Yeah, alright, let's never use that again. The Elden Beast was a much more reasonable fight for my Ultra Greatsword, so Stinger was back on the table. We clawed our way through the fight, knocking the glistening Goliath down below half health when I decided to pull out the cannon. I fired, and I missed. And as we rode our horses towards the fiend, Vergil took a critical blow. Getting knocked off his mount, he laid helpless as another swing came down and finished him off. This last bit was up to me and the one heal I had left. Let's make that 0 heals. I bobbed and weaved his massive sweeps and giant beams of light, knocking him down to death's door. All of a sudden, he used a move that would absolutely one-shot me, and I didn't think I could make it out of the purple cloud before it detonated. So I did something most people forget you can do with your weapon. I blocked. In an effort to chase him down, I leapt onto Torrent, only for the boss to fly into the air in anticipation of a big slam. I iframed it by casually dismounting the horse and... hold on. What's the best move in the game? Stinger is the best move in the game. With one last "Iya!" I sent the beast to the stars, and we had won. I triggered the ending cutscene, but of course Vergil had to steal the spotlight, and then it spawned us under the map, but that was it. We beat Elden Ring as Dante and Vergil using what we had available from the game to simulate them as best we could. I hope you guys enjoyed the journey. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sayonara.